You know, I never really participated in this GamerGate because, again, to my understanding, GamerGate is not what they're saying up here, nor is it what they're saying down here. Like, this is Google being a pitch engine and not a search engine. And let's see what Wikipedia says. Gamergate has described as an expression of sexism and misogyny within gaming. And again, it is not this whatsoever. Right? It is something completely different. And if you're a normie, you see this and you're like, oh, well, I guess Gamergate's a bad thing. But if you're like me, who's sort of watching over it with an eagle eye, like most channels I watch have actually began off the backs of Gamergate. So I'm gonna try to explain it to the best of my ability. Apparently, there was this game creator. Her name is it? Yeah, her name is Zoe Quinn. She made a game called Depression Quest, and I mean, I've seen it. I mean, I was definitely into indie games at the time, and I mean, the game was all right, right? It was cool, but you have game journalists giving it like an 8 or a 9 out of 10, and it was just kind of a meh game, right? Which is fine. And apparently Zoe Quinn started saying some weird stuff. Like, I guess one of her opinions, or, oh, if your boyfriend cheats on you, then he. And I don't know how YouTube will take this word. Apparently, it's like he RIAPE because you wouldn't have given him consent to, bang you, having you known that he was cheating, which is a completely out. Like, we all believe, like, societally, we agree that cheating is bad and RAPE is bad. But, like, let's not kid ourselves here. There are several degrees of separation between the two. Like, let's not kid ourselves here. And apparently, she had an ex boyfriend at the time. And he came out. He was like, oh, well, if what she said is true, then apparently she RAPED me 5 times with 5 different people. And some of these people may not have been the journalists that were giving her game 9, 10, 8 out of 10s. So you would expect, again, game journalists to be like, okay, yeah, no, you kind of said something pretty fucking stupid. Maybe you shouldn't. Again, not harassing, just giving criticism. But no, they all fell into lockstep and started screaming, oh, gamers are racist, gamers are sexist, gamers are this, gamers are that. And then you have gamers, the community, the consumers, are being like, okay, no, y'all are actual bullshit. And this was in 2016. Well, I think it was a little before. Yeah, it was 2014, 2015. Yeah, it was before this whole sanitization of art began. And again, it didn't really matter. Like, you had people from Tumblr, you had the pronouns in the bio, mental illness in the bio, furrykin, and the Christian, the evangelical Christian, like standing hand in hand to shit on games journalists. Like, let us be clear. Gamergate was not this. It was not an expression of sexism and misogyny within the gaming culture. It was the gaming culture speaking out against the ethics of game journalism, because again, at the time game journalism was all you had, right? You had games like Fallout New Vegas, who did not get their bonus despite, in my opinion, being one of the best games even at the time. But they didn't get the developers didn't get their bonus because IGN or the game journalists rated it lower than they wanted. So again, companies take game journalists seriously, right? Like it's all they had. So people are expecting actual, legitimate, game, uh, ethical game journalism, but they weren't getting that. And again, you have the left winger and the right winger holding hands, being like, okay, game journalists, y'all suck shit. Nobody listens to you. Y'all are some goofy shit. And again, the game journalists were shitting on the people playing the games for some reason. Like, it is not a harassment campaign. It was people calling up, the advertisers being like, so this is what this journalistic site thinks of the consumers of your product. Are you sure you want to do business with them? And that's 100% fair assessment to make. Like, again, it's backlash against feminism, diversity, progressivism, and video game culture. Like, this was never an issue in video games. And see, if people played games, but they didn't, they would know this. These things were never an issue. The games were always diverse, were always progressive. Like, Mortal Kombat invented the ESRB for games because it was progressive. At a time with the evangelical Christians censoring everything. They're like, we're going to have this product that shows ass and titties and people ripping their spines out of people and beating them with it. Like, that was very progressive. And people tried to stop them, and they didn't give a shit. NetherRealm Studios did not give a shit. But at least the evangelical Christians fucked off if you told them to fuck off. All they were like, okay, well, not in my house, whatever. Eventually their kids would grow up and play the games anyway. But now I'm not going to get all into that. All I'm talking about is Gamergate. Again, regardless of, like, a Tumblrite and a Redditite were all coming together to shit on game journalists because of this. And of course you had Anita Sarkeesian, who made lots of money. I think she's pretty much useless nowadays, but yeah, she was given flights to the Parliament of EU and all that to talk about this shit, and half the grown people were like, "Wait, what the fuck is she talking about?" Apparently, she ain't even a gamer, and again, that's fine. But people who do not participate in gaming, who do not play the video games, who are not part of what they call the video game culture, is coming in, seeing a thing, and be like, this should change. Change it now. Otherwise, you're a sexist or a misogynist. And you're against feminism and so-called social justice. Like, again, this was the problem. Like, of course you're going to have these people try getting into the things you like. It's inevitable, but, again, and this is why, at first I was against gatekeeping the things you like. Now I'm 100% for gatekeeping, right? Gatekeep the hobbies that you like, because they don't want to come in and make the games better, right? The problem nowadays is games suck. They're worse. They don't function. The artistic value of the game is less than believe it or not, what it was in like 2010, right? That's the problem. Companies don't care. The game's gotten too popular. They only care about putting a product on the shelf than actually putting out an artistic vision, the way, say, an indie company would do. Or, what companies did, like BioWare, like, back in the day. Like, they had their artistic vision. They were a bunch of guys in their mom's basement that made a game that they would play. But see, gaming's just not that anymore. And Gamergate just really shined a light on this, but again, you have these people now, they've infiltrated the companies that make these products, and now what do we have? Games that try milking you of every single cent in your fucking wallet. You know, games like Blizzard that has the HR lady overlooking all the creative process, and you're like, okay, so what games did she actually write? Dick all. They just hired her, and they're really happy that it's a black lady. Like, for some reason, they are really happy that this lady's parents fucked the right way and the genetics and the pedigree of this person. But they didn't really ask, okay, so what the hell did you do? Because she did dick all. She's just there. And she said apparently they're paying them $100,000. And it's no one. Now, I'm starting to wonder why games take so long to come out. Like, you pay the HR lady $100,000 or diversity officers $100,000, but there's no proof that they actually do anything. Like, they don't. There's no proof that they add value to the company. It's mainly. I'm assuming it's just something companies hire just to, to keep people off their ass. Because again, nowadays games are worse. Like, the games you grew up playing are worse than what they were 10, 15 years ago. And again, I don't have a study. I don't have, like, graphs and charts and shit. It's just, you can wipe your ass with everything I'm saying, but you see the games doing worse, and games being broken and not selling and being refunded. And you'll wonder why, like the new Saints Row. And you'll wonder why this is. And in games like Redfall, that are damn near unplayable on launch. And you'll wonder why, like Golem, or that goofy ass Kong game, that just are just remakes and remasters and just the exact same problem that movies have. They suck. They don't sell. And this is objectively, like, well, I'm not talking about the subjectiveness. They objectively worse products. And they take years to even be made. Games take years to be made only to come out fucking broken. Like, say what you want about Cyberpunk 2077. It was a decent game. Minus all the goofy ass bugs. And the fact that the new DLC you can only buy on the Xbox Series S and PC, even though the game came out on the Xbox One, which is the dumbest fucking decision I've ever heard in my life, but whatever. But anyway, back on Gamergate, like, this just put a monocle on the problems that we're seeing today. And of course, they'll throw labels on it, because, again, it's like they can't help themselves. Like, even nowadays, journalistic outlets cannot put Gamergate the fuck down. Like, here we are in 2020, the lesson we still haven't learned, right? What the fuck was this, 5 days ago? What? Yeah, they're still boofing out goofy shit online harassment campaign, targeted women and gaming. Shut the fuck up. I remember Pizzagate was a fucking thing. Yeah, exactly. It's like they just cannot put Gamergate down, because it's just they can still feel the scars of it nowadays. And nowadays you see the consumers just like, they're not even buying these games for their kids, right? They're just not even buying these products anymore. And by these products, I mean the new Mortal Kombat, Saints Row, Golem, like Anthem, Mass Effect, like pretty much most games that came out post 2019? Because they were good games coming out before then, but they weren't really mainstream. But post 2019, I feel like games have really taken a dip for a little bit. And I mean, I guess it's kind of coming back in 2023, but not in full force. But yeah, I mean, this is GamerGate according to me, and again, I have to be very careful because people will rake me over the fucking coals. And I just recently watched Angry Joe about video about this that he did like years. Well, it wasn't really a video. He sort of like glossed upon it in his, I think it was the top 10 controversies. And I don't blame him for trying to be, not trying to pick a side. But anyway, I mean, this is something that affects him too, because it's his whole business. And I mean, his whole business is shitting on games. Like, and I'm just looking at the views. When he likes a game, or if it's like a rapid fire, it gets less views than when he's shitting on a game, or if it's like a popular game. And again, that's just his business. I ain't shitting on it. I mean, people want to watch Angry Joe get angry, and that's what they should get. But anyway, that's all I gotta say about this. See ya.